All right. So the first thing will be the issue of lateness. So as for the class is going to be starting by 7. I can still try and wait like 5 minutes or 10 minutes for some people. But please let's try and work on the issue of lateness. And the second thing is so as to make everything all rowdy and orderly. As you're coming in, please always try to mute your mics. And you can also turn off your video. It's not entirely necessary. So should in case at any point in time, the only case whereby you have to unmute yourself is if you have a question, in which you can raise up your hand first. When you raise your hand, I will allow you to unmute yourself and you can talk. And also, it's very important. I know this is a virtual learning class. It's online and it's very, very easy to get distracted. Well, we like to indulge us to try as much as possible not to get distracted. Make sure you try and follow every step because you don't want to afford to miss any class or any step. That's another thing. Please try as much as possible not to miss any class. In fact, missing just 5 minutes, you might miss a lot because this thing is a step-by-step something. If you miss a step, going to the higher step might be difficult. So try and pay attention in class. Try not to miss any class. And also, if there's anything you don't get in class, always call my attention to that. Although the classes are going to be recorded, I'm recording right now. So you can always have access to the video after the class. Should in case you decided not to talk, well, or raise your hand based on what you don't understand or something, the video will always be available for us after the class. So, all right, that being said, do we have any question or anything you don't understand in everything I've said?
Hi, Demi Topper. I just hello.
Hi, hello, I can hear you.
Yeah, I see you sent me this link. So I just wanted to confirm. You don't need me here, right? Because like the power query.
Yeah, you can be here if you want, but
Oh,
we just
okay, all right.
decided to
I'll
send
just
it.
stay.
Okay, all right, that's nice.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so that being said, let's go into data analytics. And trust me, you're going to enjoy the class because data analytics is very, very fun. But like I said, you have to pay attention. It's quite simple, and I will try my best to bring it down to a level so everybody can go along with me. But you have to pay attention in class. It's very, very, very important. So welcome to the world of data. If you are going to agree with me, data is taking up the whole thing now. You move to your left, data is all around you. Data is all around you. We can't do data. We can't do much without data. So data analytics. Uh, I believe some of us might have heard about it before, might have seen it online. I would have loved to. Okay, let me pick one person. So, is there anybody in the house that knows anything about data analytics? Proud to proud to this class or something that you might want to share with us? Just one person. If there's anybody in the house, you know one or two things about data analytics, what it actually means, if you would like to share with the class. Anybody? All right then. So I'm just going to take it. We are all new to data analytics then. All right. So we're going to be before we go into data analytics per se, we need to talk about data itself. So this is the outline for this class. And also this class is just going to be an introductory class. Starting from next week to Saturday, we're going to dive into the whole thing itself. So we're going to be looking at basic definition of data, information, and analytics. We're going to be looking at the difference between data analysis and data analytics. I know some of us might be surprised because oftentimes you only hear about data analysis. Hardly will you hear people say data analytics. There's actually difference between the two. So I'm going to be looking at the different examples of analytics and also the types of analytics. So what is the data? From our secondary school, they say data is a raw material from which information is produced. That's absolutely correct. Over here, I have our data is a set of values of qualitative or quantitative variables. Now, what do you mean by qualitative variables? Qualitative variables are variables that we cannot count them. We can't count them. Let's say color, for instance. Why quantitative variables are what we can count. Oh, so person has two forms. We can count them. So it is information in raw or unorganized form. It may be a fact, figure, characters, or symbols. For instance, now if I say, let me pick a name here. Okay, if I say Adebayo, or if I just keep on saying Adebayo, Adebayo, people will be looking at me like, okay, what's wrong with this person? But if I say, okay, Adebayo is in data analytics class, or let me just put it this way. If I say Adebayo, another time I mentioned data analytics, people will start looking at me like, is this person okay? But if I combine it together and say something like, Adebayo is learning data analytics, oh, they'll be like, okay, because I'm already passing information. So combination of two or more data gives information. Me saying Adebayo, data analytics, they are not organized. I'm not putting it together. I'm just throwing it in the head. But by the time I combine them together, saying Adebayo is learning data analytics, oh, people get to understand, oh, okay, you're just learning it. So that's information. Meaningful or organized data is information. Bringing them together. Here we also have figure, we have characters. Figure, I can just say, oh, let's say, okay, let me put it this way. Let's say I want to talk about Adebayo being, let's assume, sorry for this, Adebayo. Let's assume Adebayo is 30 years old. And then I just wrote 30. Being a figure, people will be like, okay, what happened to 30? It brings, well, just having a data brings more question, you know. So if I say, oh, Adebayo is 30 years old, oh, people understand. That's just the figure out of it. And we have characters and symbols that can represent data. So what's now? Now we understand what data is. We know what information is. Then what is now analytics? Now it says the analytics is the discovery, interpretation, and please, you can jot if you have to. I won't be releasing this slide after the class, so please do well to jot as much as you can. And I like to ask questions, so please, always, anything I say and you feel you might forget, just try and jot it down. And then don't assume you know it already. You can always forget these things, so just try and jot that. Thank you. So analytics is the discovery, interpretation, and communication of meaningful patterns or summary in data and applying those patterns towards effective decision making. So now the first step in data analytics is number one thing is data. You already know what data is now. Okay, maybe to shed more light to that. Um, let's say, for instance, I don't know, some of us might be working in different organizations. They always collect our data. In fact, let me start with, let's say, registration of maybe your SIM, for instance. They collect your first name, last name. Those are the kind of data we're talking about. Okay, so the first thing is you have to work with, you need the data first. Without data, there's no data analytics. Now, what kind of data? We have past data, we have, can deal with present data. So now the first thing is you need to have the data set. That's the first thing. So now you can go into is the discovery, interpretation, and communication of meaningful patterns, a summary in data, which means after you get your data, the next thing is you try to import your data using any, I've not mentioned the softwares you're going to be using yet. Okay, let me quickly mention that. So we're going to be using 4 different softwares. We have 3 visualization tools and 1 for the programming. So we're going to be making use of Microsoft Excel, Power BI, Tableau, and the SQL. So you can use any of this data set, although visualization. Okay, I don't want to go too deep since I've not explained some of these terms. Let me just go into data analytics, the simple explanation. So it's basically collecting data. I already gave an example of data you can collect, your first name, last name, based on the organization. Using past data to actually solve present or future problems. That's a simple explanation. But now, based on what I have here, it says analysis is the discovery, interpretation, and communication of meaningful patterns or summary. Now, let's assume you have a data. Let's say I decide to gather the data of everybody in this class. Let's say I have a column for, let's say, our Heidi. Let's say I have a column for the ID. I have a column for the first name. I have a column for last name. I have a column for gender. And then I have a column for, let's say, phone number, for instance. Now, I might decide to know the total number of males that are present inside the class. Now, to know that, I will have to plot the, let's say, for instance, now, possibly maybe the plot the first name against the gender for me to know the total number of males and females we have in class. Now, from there, if I have more males than female, I can conclude, oh, okay, in my class, I have more male than females. These are the kind of patterns we look at. Or for instance, let me give a clearer example. Let's say, for instance, you have a business, for instance, and then for the last 2 years, that's 2002 and 2003, you've been making profits. All of a sudden, or let me say 2001, 2002, you've been making profits. And then last year, which is 2023, you've stopped, or there was a huge decline in you making profit. You had a huge loss. Now, you might give your data to a data analyst that, oh, you would like to know what happened all of a sudden. Now, by the time I construct perform my own analysis, I will see from my chart that, okay, there was a very sharp decrease in 2023. Now, those are the patterns we're talking about here. Being able to combine one or two columns together and see a particular trend. Oh, okay, you were having profits in 2022, 2021. All of a sudden, 2023, you had a huge loss. These are the kind of patterns we discover. Or like the one I gave earlier from my data. Oh, I discovered that we have more male. Those are the kind of patterns we're talking about here. So applying those patterns to make effective decision making, to towards effective decision making. Like I said earlier, I can now conclude that okay, I have more male inside my class. So you're already making some a kind of decision. So it says here data analysis is the process of examining the data set in order to draw conclusion. So the major role of a data analyst is to you examine the data set and you are being able to draw a particular conclusion. I think this part will take me to data analysis. You know, I told you earlier there's a difference between data analysis and data analytics. Now, let me explain some steps to you. Before achieving your goal as a data analyst, the first thing you have to do is you have to collect the data. You need to get the data first. The next thing is you import your data into wherever software you want to use. The next thing is you check the data, you clean the data. After that, you can start performing different analysis. You visualize your data, you model your data, you create your dashboard, and then from there you can make informed decision. That's a complete step of what we're going to be doing. Now, every stage has a lot embedded in it, but they are all simple. We're going to go through them. So over here it says data analysis is a process of inspecting, cleansing, transforming, and modeling data. You see, you can see this one stops at modeling data. So data analysis is from the process whereby you collect your data, you inspect your data, you clean your data, you transform your data, Now, I'm going to explain all this. Well, okay, maybe I can quickly explain it. Inspection of data is just checking out your data. Where is it being gotten from? Checking the number of columns you have, the number of rows you have. Is it a big data or whatsoever? Now, the cleaning of data sets is so oftentimes your data will always come with unwanted objects you don't want in your data set. We're still going to dive into that later. I just want to let us have a kind of an idea of what data cleaning is. So it's basically removing unwanted whatsoever inside your data you don't want. Transforming is in a lot of ways, trying to plot so many things together and your data modeling. We're going to talk more about them later. Now, if you look at your data analytics, it says refers to the qualitative and quantitative techniques and processes used to enhance productivity and business gain. So after your data modeling, you create your dashboard. Now, from your dashboard, you are being able to, it's not a must, it's not every project that is with creating a dashboard. I have to bring that in. So after whatever analysis you want to carry out, and you are being able to make a particular decision to enhance productivity or business gain or to draw up any conclusion at all, is data analytics. All your inspection, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data, they takes the analysis part of it. But you being able to take a step further after your analysis to make a particular decision to solve a particular problem, that's data analytics. So, in other words, I can say data analytics is data analysis plus solving a particular problem through your analysis. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. Now, we all know the difference between data analysis and data analytics. Please, should in case you have any question at any point in time, you can always raise up your hand or something. Okay, so I think someone else is raised. Sorry, I think someone else is raised. Who's that? Please, if your hand is raised, I don't know if it's by mistake, but I can see someone hands raised. Please, you can unmute yourself and speak up. I can see someone hands raised. Okay, I think it was probably a mistake. All right then. So now I believe you all get the concept of data analysis and data analytics. Please, we can use the chat box also. Please, can you reply yes if you get the difference between them in the chat box very quickly? Just reply with yes. Yes for I understand. No for no, I don't understand. Can you take that again? Someone said yes and no. Okay. Any other person? Just drop no. Okay. Okay. All right. I will like to take that again very quickly. All right. It's like this. Let's say. I'm trying to look for an example. Let's see if I can give us an second example to make it easier. Okay, good. Let's say, for instance, I want to eat, uh, let's say rice. No, let's say I want to eat jollof rice. I want to eat jollof rice, right? Now, with jollof rice just come out of the tin here. Now, is in two ways. Is either I go and buy it or I cook it myself. Now, let's assume I want to cook it myself. Now, the first thing I will do is what? I will get the necessary ingredients. I will buy rice, um, vegetable oil, pepper, chicken, depending on whatever you want in it. Now, don't forget, my end goal is what? To heat jollof rice. Now, I have to go through the process of buying all the ingredients I need first. I will wash it. I will wash it. I'll put it on fire, and then I'll put it inside the plate. Don't forget, I've not eaten it yet too. And don't forget, the end goal is eating it. Now, let me use this to explain data analysis. Now, the first thing I said is you get your data. Now, liken it to your jollof rice. You going to the market to buy all the ingredients is getting your data. Now, inspecting of data is you cleaning up your, washing your rice, dicing your vegetables or whatever you're putting inside. Now, transforming is you're already cooking it. You're already cooking it and everything. Now, modern is like is already inside your plate, or let me say your dashboard, or okay, oh maybe this is why you don't get it. I'm using some terms you are not familiar with. So let's say modern is and putting it inside your plate. Now that's data analysis. Don't forget you've not eaten it too. That's data analysis. Now, by the time you now start eating it, which is your end goal, that's data analytics. I don't know if you get my. So the until you reach that end goal, yeah, you've not yet done data analytics. And the end goal of okay, now let me bring it back to data analytics. The end goal of every data analyst is being able to solve a particular problem. You might be very good at analyzing, you've cleaned your data, you've transformed your data, you've plotted, for instance, I said first name against age or phone number, you've plotted a lot, you just left it like that. That's data analysis. But you've been able to make a decision that, okay, from this data I have analyzed, I could see that we have more males than female. Oh, maybe that's why. You can just bring up anything depending on what you're trying to solve. Or for instance, I gave an example of a business earlier. All of a sudden, it started making loss. You already saw it in your data that oh, this one started making loss in 2023, and from there, maybe you discovered that one of their potential customers stopped coming. Don't forget, you're already making decisions already from your analysis. So taking a step further after your analysis in which making an informed decision or being able to now I can decide that oh, it's a customer that stopped patronizing you. Maybe this customer is a very big one, used to buy a lot. Now I can now recommend, oh, perhaps you should try and get through. Banks do it a lot. If they see that you've not used your account for a while, they might message you. Yes, that's they trying to check on their customers. So I'm already providing a solution now. So I might be like, oh, you might want to contact your customer. Maybe something happened. Maybe a particular, or maybe one of your salesperson annoyed them. Now you see, I'm being able to make a particular decision based on the data I have. Now that's data analytics. Okay, I don't know. Do we understand now? Please, those that said no, let me know if you understand it now. And if you still don't understand, perhaps maybe, or let me know if you understand first before I say what I wanted to say. Oh, okay. I have a yes. Oh, yes. Olalekan Ade, let me know if you understand now, please. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I have a lot of yes. Oh, it's more clear. Thank you so much. Don't worry, as we proceed with the class, it will get more clearer. So now we know what data analysis is. You know what data analytics is. So anytime you want to say it's outside, you know when to say which one is which. All right. So let's go to the next thing. Now that we know what data analytics is, what are the examples of data analytics? We have various examples and we have various types of analytics. Examples, we have business analytics. Now, don't forget, data is around us, everywhere around us. Going to Google, data, Facebook, WhatsApp, everything you're doing is extracting data. Everywhere, everything around you is data. I'm just trying to imagine what the world will be without data. No, 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 we can't do without it. So data is at every corner, which means that the data analytics can work anywhere. That's why we have these examples here. We have business analytics. So when you apply, or let me say, when you solve a particular problem related to business, it's called business analytics. Like what I just, like the example I gave, someone has been having a kind of decline, or sorry, you've been making profits, all of a sudden started making loss. Of course, you want to know what has happened. What happened? Something like so. Applying data analytics to business is quite simple. It's business. It's simply business analytics. We have risk. We have fraud. We have health. we have well. So we also have risk analytics, in which we also take risks. Let's say, for instance, risk might come in terms of being able to predict using data analytics. That I'll explain that better when you get to types of analytics. So we also have it in fraud. The police station, they also gather data and everything. You have them in hospitals, that's concerning the health, and we have it in web. Yes, oftentimes, whatever you do on the internet, they always gather the data. Yes, that's why sometimes you might have posted something a while back, and all of a sudden you just see someone else bring it later in the future, be like, what is happening? So we apply data analytics in different areas where, as in fact, as you are right now, data is being extracted on the web and all this Google you use and everything, we use data analytics for them. So also we have types of data analytics. We have four major types. We have the descriptive analytics. We have the predictive analytics. We have the prescriptive analytics. We have the diagnostic analytics. So I will make this very simple for us. I will start with the prescriptive analytics. Oh, no, 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 no. Yes, I'll start with the descriptive analytics. I'll try to arrange it so we can understand it. After that, we go to the diagnostic analytics, prescriptive, and the likes. Now, to understand this better, let me let, let me just cite this example. If you are sick now, for instance, sorry, you will not be sick. Oh. Let's say, for instance, now you're sick. I want to go and see a doctor. The first thing with the doctor we ask you is, okay, can you describe what has been happening? And then you start going by, okay, you running high temperature, you've been vomiting. Now that's what you're describing what's happening to you, right? Now let's put that aside. Now after that, of course, after you describe what's happening to you, the doctor is going to diagnose, right? Okay, let's check this. Sometimes they might want to check the temperature themselves, do a lot of probably check your blood for blood testing, they diagnose, just to know, just to be sure of what has happened. Now, after that, oh, this was happening. You have malaria. What's the next thing? They prescribe drug. And they might now tell you, oh, in 3 days, or let's say, for instance, they admit you. They might tell you, oh, in 3 days and so days, you should be okay. That's predictive. Now, I'm sure you all get that concept. Now, let me bring it to data analytics. Now, let's say, for instance, the same example I gave. There's a particular businesswoman. 2021, there was profit. 2022, when I mean profit, I mean at the end of the year. 2022 profit, 2023 loss. All of a sudden, it has never happened before. You'd be curious. So she decided to consult a data analyst. So the first thing I will do is, okay, what has happened? Now, what has happened is what there has been a loss. Used to have profit before, but now loss. That is what has happened. So any analysis you want to go, we cannot bypass these types of analytics. You see, it's stage by stage. The first thing is what has happened. So descriptive analytics is what has happened to help you out to quickly assess it. What has happened is, okay, 2023, there's been loss. That's never happened before. So the next thing is, why has it happened? That's your diagnostic analytics. Why has it happened? Don't forget I gave an example earlier that, okay, maybe why I checked my data, I discovered that there's this customer, they maybe buys a lot of their goods, but all of a sudden stops patronizing. Stops patronizing. So that is why it has happened. Oh, or rather than say loss, let's just say a big decline in profit. Let me put it that way, which can also lead to loss. To those that will be there, you might understand what I'm trying to say. Now, why has it happened? It has happened because this particular customer stopped patronizing you. Don't forget, I've been able to get this part from, okay, now I already checked the data. I already analyzed the data. I've been able to check it. Now, the next thing is, what should we do? Don't forget, I also said, oh, you might want to consult the customer, try to reach out to the customer. What has happened? Why did they stop patronizing us? Even some of us on our street, or when you try to buy some one or two things, and you stop buying from one person, when they see you, like, what's happening now? It's been a while. You've seen you. You think they are greeting you normally, but they are trying to check up that. Don't forget me, something like that. So that's you trying to provide a particular solution. Don't forget, I'm just trying to set an example. It doesn't have to go exactly the way I'm putting it. It might be another thing that's causing the decline in profit, you know. So that's the part of what you do. Okay, what you should do is try and call that customer, try and see what's happening so you can know how to deal with it. So now the next thing is predictive analytics. Now, what might happen now is in two ways. Is it that the customer comes back or not, right? So then you start finding another strategy. Maybe you increase your advertisements now so you can have more customers. Now, predictive analytics can also be seen in another way. But before I go into that other aspect, I believe you all understand this part. In case you don't understand, don't forget, just raise up your hand so I can quickly address it. Sorry, I'm coming. All right, so let me go to the next slide. Now, this is another way to look at it. Now, the predictive is called don't forget, without this, as a data analyst, these types of analysis is very important. That's what you're going to be doing. So you have to know when you're applying, when what you're doing is diagnostic, when you're doing is descriptive. The very example I cited earlier about you being a patient and going to say, doctor, we guide you to understand it better. So the predictive analysis is called the HIF. Now, I said something earlier that I'm going to explain it more here. Now, I'm sure everybody's familiar with the weather forecasts. Sometimes they will tell you it will rain by so time tomorrow, something will happen, blah, 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 weather forecast. They are trying to predict what will happen in the future, right? That's what they're doing. Now, this prediction is not just based on, they just feel like, oh, it will rain tomorrow. No, no, no. It's based on their own research and data they have been able to get together over this time. It's the same thing here. Now, don't forget, I'll still use the same example. 2021 profits, 2022 profits, 2023 loss, or let me say decline in profit. Now, I can use those data that's been acquired over the 3 years to predict what will happen in 2024. That's what we call forecast. So I can decide. Now, don't forget, AI will be the one to do the judge of that. There's a tool called forecast in the tools we're going to be using. So to be the one to carry out the prediction. In fact, it can predict for as many years you want. But I want us to note these things. This thing I'm about to say. The more the years you predict for, the less the accuracy. Now, don't forget my data ended in 2023, 2022, 2023. Now, to be wise for me just to predict for 2024 and 2025. But if I go more further to start predicting for, let's say, 5 years to come, 10 years to come, the accuracy is not going to be, I'm going to have less accuracy. So let's note that anytime you want to predict, for accuracy's sake, make sure it's not much more than, let's say, 1 to 3 years after. When it's getting over way too much, it's going to reduce the accuracy. Okay. All right, it's going to reduce the accuracy. So now let me read what I have here. It says predictive analytics help companies forecast trends based on current circumstances by analyzing a range of codependent variables to make prediction of future events. I already explained that. Based, don't forget, everything is based on data you have. So I can predict if I will, don't forget it's based on data. I can predict the kind of, if I'm going to make profit or loss for this 2024 and 2025. That's just predictive part of data analytics. So not only do we use past data to know what's happening now, we can also use it to solve future problems. Now, prescriptive is also called the how. Don't forget, I'm just trying to buttress my point from what I explained earlier. It's still the same thing. Now, prescriptive is called the how. Now, it says predictive analytics takes predictive analytics a step further, applying AI to predictor analytics to help predict outcomes and recommend the best course of action. Now, don't forget when I was explaining predictive the other time, I said there's another way to it, right? Now, I explained something that you can now predict that, okay, if you go and meet the customer, so whatever, or is it that it decides to come back or not? That's what this way is trying to talk about. Takes predictive analytics a step further. So I can say that, okay, if you go and meet this customer and call them and do this, is it that the customer comes back based on how convincing you are? Or you might just start looking for another strategy. So I would just say, okay, if you're going to work towards having profit for this particular year, these are the things you need to do. Because even I don't know if you actually get what I'm trying to say now. Before I move further, can we drop a yes if you get what I'm saying? I don't want us to get confused because this is like the basics they are very, very important. As a data analyst, you really need to understand all these things. Okay, thank you so much. I have a yes. All right, and also in case maybe they're getting confusing or something, you can always or the video is going to be sent to us after the class, so you can always check them and try and digest them the more. Now, descriptive is also called. Thank you so much for the replies or for the comments. Now, descriptive is also called the what. It says descriptive analysis answer essential questions like what, when, why, and how. How did they happen? What's happened? What has happened? Like what I said earlier, when did it happen? Or whatever. It's just like your doctors will always ask this question. When did they start? What happened? All those kind of questions. It still comes in from describing what has happened to you. So they might be used to summarize information about a past event, identify patterns, and interpret historical data. Don't forget, the data we're working on are always past data, not present data. When I mean present, not like the one I'm acquiring presently. It's always past data. We use them to solve different problems. Now, the diagnostic is also called the why. It says it's just to determine data to understand why something happened. So I already explained all these things. So I would like to take much more time. So now that's it. So from what I've been saying so far, if I should ask us, who is a data analyst? What would you say? We just take you can drop. I know some of us might be shy to talk. You can drop it on the comment section. What will you say? What will you say, or who will you say data analyst is? Now, in case you want to speak out, you can unmute your mic and talk. And if you want to put it in a comment, okay. I think I have someone.
Um, Good evening, sir. Well done so far. Please, I have a
Good.
question. Or before that, I'll just give simple meaning to the definition you asked for.
Okay.
To me, data analytics is when you use data or information to bring about solutions to problem. So that's just a simple definition. So that's from my hand. Okay.
Yeah.
My question actually is on the predictive analysis you talked about. Okay, you
Okay.
said something like using 2 years data. Like, is it easy? Are you saying that is one of the best way to get the results, like not going beyond 2 years, or maybe we're talking about, using predictive, you use previous data to bring about predictions to the future occurrence. So are you saying we shouldn't go beneath, like above 2 years, maybe when you're trying to to predict something, especially the weather forecast that you use an example?
Okay, okay. Thank you for the question. Let me quickly address that. Now it's like this. As we are now, I don't know where you are presently. Okay, let me just ask. How should I put it now? Okay, based on your environment now, for instance, it will be easy for you to predict what might happen in how should I put it? Let's say in some months to come. You might even predict what might happen or how your life might turn out in a way. But if you will agree with me, it won't be easy for you to predict what will happen in the next 5 years or 3 years, as the case may be. Don't get me wrong. Now, I know some of us might have some visions. Okay, in the next 10 years, I see myself in this, I see myself in that. You just put having this kind of faith. But based on physical resources, you can predict what might happen in next month, like how things might turn out in next month based on what's happening presently, because it's not that far. But it won't be easy for you to tell what might happen in 5 years. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, let me now bring it back to data analytics. It's like this. Okay, I have data for 4 years. Don't forget the prediction is based on the data I have. It will be easy for me to predict. Oh, let's say I have data for instance, let me use the same example 2021, 2022, and 2023. Now, I will have my prediction will be more accurate if I predict for 2024, or let me just put it this way. Let's say I predict for 5 years. That is 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. Now, the prediction I have for 2024 will be more accurate than the one I have for 2028. Why? Because it is closer to the data set I have. Now, 2028, 2027, I don't have the data set. What I have is prediction. Till 2023. Unlike when I be like, okay, let me just wait. When is 2026? I will predict what will happen in 2028. A lot might have happened between 2024 and 2027. In fact, a lot will definitely happen. Don't forget, you don't have the data for 2024 and 2027. You only have to 2023. And you have like 4 different years in between them that you have no idea of. I'm very sure, okay, I don't want to use this example, but let me just cite it. I don't know, maybe a lot of us are Nigerians. I don't know. I don't know if that would be okay for me to cite it. So now, if some of us have been asked 4 years ago, what would you guess the price of dollar to be? I'm sure none of us would have predicted we would have up to this. But as at last year, you might have, yes, let's say as at last year, we already seen that, okay, the way this thing is going, even as at now, some of us are still thinking the way this thing is going to 2000. Because it's within a short while. It's within a short while. So I can't predict what dollar price will be in the next 3 years because a lot might have happened. I don't know if you get my understanding. So I'm not saying it's wrong for you to predict for longer years, but what I'm saying is it won't be as accurate as when you predict for fewer years. And why should you be predicting for the next 5 years when you can just chill till you have the data set and predict it like that? For instance, 2023, that's when your data stopped. And you're predicting for 2028. Why not just wait till you get to like 2026? Then you can predict for 2028. Whatever software you're using will generate the prediction for you, yes. But it won't be as accurate as because it's only going to use the data you have for the 3 years to predict for the next 5 years. So I don't know if I've answered your question or Adibayo. Adibayo, can you unmute and let me know if I've
Yeah,
answered the question?
yes, I can hear you. You've answered the question, sir. Thanks so much.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. So I can see a lot of definition. I would say data analysis is a process of using data to solve a problem. Hey, okay, data analyst is someone who provides or gives solutions to problems through data collected. Yes, that's correct. The data analyst collects data, cleans, transform. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Except one. Okay, if this person says I would say data analysis is the process of using data to solve a problem. No, that's not analysis. Now, what you just defined is, or maybe there was a mistake. What you just defined is data analytics, not data analysis. Now, data analysis is your process of cleaning, from the example I cited earlier, going to the market to buy rice, washing it, putting it on fire. The whole process of making your jollof rice, and then put it that way. That's your data analysis. Now, eating it, which is your end goal, that's data analytics. So thank you very much for the response. All right, we are all correct. We are all definitely correct. So now that we have an idea of what data analytics is, now we have different visualization tools, and we have the machine learning part of it, that is the coding part of it. So the visualization tools, we have Microsoft Excel. Some of us are probably familiar with that. We have the Power BI, we have the Tableau. Now, all these things are similar. It's just like saying you have Toyota, you have Benz, you have a BMW. They all perform the same function, right? It's just to drive you to your destination, but they have different designs. That's the same thing with Microsoft Excel, Power BI, and Tableau. So I'm just going to teach us. Some persons might fall in love with Power BI. Some persons might like Tableau more. So the aim of teaching you um three of them is you can get to choose one of the choice you like to work on, and you can embrace the whole three, anyone that works for you. So it's the whole three is still to achieve your goal. Now, what's visualization? I know I've been saying that a lot. Let me quickly explain that. Now, data visualization is, don't forget you've gathered your data, you've cleaned your data, you've yes, you've imported, you've cleaned your data. Now the next, you've analyzed your I don't want to use the word analysis. Yeah, hey, let me say you've transformed your data. Now the next thing is you want to visualize the data. For instance, let's say I want to know those that are males and females. I decide to plot all our first names or our student ID against male and female. I can use pie chart for that. Just to know okay, in fact, let me just put it this way. Let me say the ratio of the gender, male to female. I can use pie chart for that. I don't know which, I don't know if you're all familiar with pie chart. So my pie chart will give me, from the pie chart, I'll be able to see if I have male in dominance or I have female. That's visualization. Visualization is something you can see, like representing your data in a chart. And you can see that, okay, from what I can see, this is what is happening. That's data visualization. So you go in more into that. So that's what we use our Excel for, Power BI, and Tableau. Now, the machine learning part of it, we have numerals, and we have R, we have Python, we have SQL. But for the sake of this course, we'll be taking the SQL part of it. So, and I'm going to be the one to take everything. So it's going to be in this order. We start with it with Excel first, followed by Power BI. After that, we're going to go into Tableau. Then the last thing will be the machine learning, which is the SQL, and it's called structured query language. So believe me, data analytics is quite very, very simple. But as simple as it is, you have to very, very, very pay attention. Don't You can't afford to miss any class. And please, I discovered some of us came late. I want to assume it's because of the celebration Easter that is ongoing. Please, let's do well to always come early to class so you don't get to miss much. Because, like I said earlier, you miss a step, you might be stuck though. So try and don't get distracted. It's an online class, so it's easy to get distracted. Go to an environment whereby you don't get distracted and make sure you have a very good network. So there won't be class tomorrow. Our next class will be next week, Saturday. So please do well to get Microsoft Excel on our laptops. Because from next week, they're going to be practicalizing everything. So make sure I'll be sending some files to our mails before the next class. So do well to download it. I'll also be giving assignments at every point in time. I'll be giving classworks too. So it's going to be very interactive. Trust me, you're going to enjoy the class. I just need you to pay attention. Also, after each and every class, always try to read more on what is being discussed. This will allow you to know more knowledge about it. You know, there might be some things I might overlook. So when you try to combine so many things, you can also read different materials. It will always help. And I like it when people ask questions. So it will always make me go more in depth into it. All right. So like I said, do have to check your mails. We're going to send the file for next week class to your mails. So I need the files downloaded before the next class. Also, make sure, in case you don't have Microsoft Excel on your system, try and get it. How can you get it? You can go to, let's say, all these people that fix systems that can install softwares for you. Or you can, the issue with downloading online is you might have to pay for it. So you can just go to people that install softwares, they will have it installed for you. So for other softwares, when we get there, I will explain how to get them or how to download them. So all right, before I end the class, do you have any question? Does anybody have any other question? Any question at all regarding data analytics or regarding what I just said? Do you have any question?
Yes, I have a question, sir.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Sorry, are we not going to be doing anything on Python? Maybe like substitute Tableau for Python. I think Python is widely accepted now these days, but no.
Oh, sorry, it's Python is not with the package. It's just SQL. So Python is not with the package. It's just SQL.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. But the SQL can also do a lot the Python can do. But I understand your point. It's widely accepted and all, so but it's not with the package. So any other question? I think someone raised up his or her hand earlier or something. I don't know. Okay, what's the duration for the whole training? All right, it's meant to span for, let's say, 10 weeks, but then it depends on how fast we have been able to get things done and all. But let's say 10 to 12 weeks, thereabouts, you should be done with the whole thing. So that's the duration for the whole training. 10 to 12 weeks, you should be done. So I believe there's okay. Oh, all right. Since there's no okay. Marty, do you want to say something?
Evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, actually, I just joined. I was actually searching my mail. I came back late. Sorry about that. So, most of the things just too new to me. I actually do not know where we started, and they asked me to ask a question.
All right.
No, that
All right, I understand what you're saying. So that's why I said earlier you can't afford to be late because the best I can do for you now is the video is going to be sent to our various mails. So you can check the video and watch the video. So next class, please do well to come early. Try and schedule your time. So whatever you have to get done, make sure you get them done before 7 p.m. Because from next week, we go into data analytics proper. You get to perform the practicals yourself. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. I do have a WhatsApp group, sir.
No, we do not have a WhatsApp group. All informations are going to be sent to our various mails. But if should in case there's need for WhatsApp group, there's a reason we don't have a WhatsApp group. But if should in case there be need for that, don't worry, everybody will be delay added. But every information from now is going to be passed to our mails. So please do well to be checking your mails as often as possible.
Okay.
So every information is going to be sent to our mails.
Thank you very much, sir. I actually wanted to ask, would there be any means for a practical class, like a physical class?
No. This is a virtual class. There will not be physical class at all.
Problem, sir.
Yes, thank you.
God bless you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. Any other person before we round up the class? All right, so see each and every one of us next week.
So sorry, I have just one. So is this going to be like an hour every week?
No. It's because this is an introductory class. That's why we're rounding off now. So it's going to be 2 hours from next week, 7
Okay.
p.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So
Okay, I have a question. I'll just wait for everybody to leave and also you stop recording.
oh, okay. So thank you, everybody. Oh, thank you for
Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. See us next week, Saturday. Enjoy the Easter and everything.
Okay, and you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.